Welcome to Women of a Certain Stage, the podcast redefining how we think about menopause. I'm your host, Lauren Turin, a passionate advocate for breaking the stigma and empowering individuals to navigate this transformational stage of life with confidence and clarity. Here, we're diving into a new era of menopause support, featuring expert advice, real-life stories, and actionable insights. Whether you're curious about building your personal menopause plan or you're looking to make an impact, you're in the right place. Let's embrace the change together.
Multiple sclerosis and menopause. That is a power punch or a power pack challenge. So tell me a little bit more about why that's something that you'd like to talk about today.
Okay, so 2/3 of people with multiple sclerosis are women. And usually when we first get diagnosis, on average, it's usually the age when you hit perimenopause.
Yeah.
So you get a double whammy. And that was my case. Now, I've been putting some feelers out there within the MS community and just trying to get a feel of how it's affecting other people. And it's obviously with perimenopause, it's not the same for everybody. So for me, it was absolutely hideous. I mean, it was a complete roller coaster. Didn't know what was going on, completely fell to pieces. And the information was huge. To the point where I literally couldn't get out of bed. I was completely bedbound and thought I was going mad as well, losing my mind, couldn't think straight. The pain was so intense. And it's one thing dealing with a diagnosis of you've just been told you've got multiple sclerosis. And in my case, it's relapsing, remitting MS. Yeah. So it's kind of like there's many stages, but it's kind of like the first stage. And it takes a while to get a firm diagnosis and you have to have a clinical stamp before you can get treatment. Now, what I didn't realise at the time, because I thought it was just that, was I was entering perimenopause. And obviously the symptoms just completely overlap, brain fog, cognitive issues, joint pain, hot and cold. I was going from really hot to really cold, and just couldn't function. Just couldn't function.
Which did you get the diagnosis for first?
MS first.
Yeah.
But then when you get the MS first, they don't even look at the perimenopause. So that got completely overlooked. And I kept saying, I don't think this is just MS. And they were going, no. And I've heard this so many times, so many women saying, you're too young. You're too young.
What age were you when you were told you had MS?
40s, early 40s.
Early 40s.
Yeah. And again,
definitely not too young for perimenopause, right? We know that.
Yeah. And I was told I was too young for perimenopause and it was all MS related and you're stressed, and I had a lot of other things going on, work issues, and it was just a complete minefield and I didn't know where to turn. Bless them, my MS team are really, really good. But when it comes to looking at both of these things together, it wasn't joined up. And I still don't think it is joined up.
No, it's not. It's not. I've worked a lot with MS over the last 26 years. So as a personal trainer, it was an area that I had a number of clients who I supported through various stages over 10 years of their MS, and the progression of it is a really interesting disease, and unfortunately, and there are so many different variants and there's still so much research to be done. So when you've got something like MS where there's so much we're still learning about, and there are medications that are super successful in some cases, and then we've got menopause on the other hand, which also got so much research, we're in a really tricky situation. So what were the key areas of support that you had from your MS team originally, and how did that impact you?
So I was asked whether, and it was very patient centered. So I was asked, what do you want to try? Do you want to try any of the DMTs, disease modifying treatments? And at that point, I was like, hell yeah, because I felt so awful. I mean, I lost everything on the right side because at first I thought I was having a stroke. So, and couldn't move, just was completely, my vertigo was so bad. And again, women with perimenopause, they get really bad vertigo as well. And one of my personal friends is really struggling. And so everyone thought I was drunk all the time. So the disease modifying treatment, which I have a really sensitive system, and I just didn't get on with it. It gives you flu-like symptoms. So basically my quality of life was non-existent. So I was taking an injection once a week, and then spending 3 to 4 days like recovering from the injection. And then just when you feel like you're coming back to some kind of normality, it's time for the next injection. And I just went and spoke to my neurologist, and I said, I can't live like this. I'm going to play Russian roulette with this MS, because I do not want to be feeling so rough 4 to 5 days a week. And then literally a couple of days where you're just literally starting to feel more human. I'm then psyching myself up because I'm thinking, I've got to take the injection again. So he said, well, we'll work together. If you want to come off the injection, then let's try it. Let's keep a check-in on your symptoms. I've got constant email access to my team. And they're brilliant. They are brilliant. That's down at Southampton University Hospital. So can't thank them enough. And touch wood, I stayed off all medication, and I actually had a word with my neurologist and said to him, I'm a strong believer this is down to diet, really good nutrition, movement, just getting outside, even if you're on one of the worst days, even if I can just walk down the end of the road and get back. I'm lucky, I'm pretty mobile, so, and that for me, and he said, this is what he's been finding is the people that really focus on healthy lifestyle, movement, nutrition are the ones that tend to have the best success stories. And I don't take any medication for it now. The only medication I take is HRT.
HRT.
Yeah.
And it's really heartwarming to hear you saying that. And having worked with so many people with MS as well, I have seen various different stages. So I know everyone's journey through MS is very, very different and individual. And even with people that I've worked with in the gym 3, 4, 5 times a day, 3, 4, 5 times a week. Or maybe done pool work, done aquatic work with them. We've done all sorts of different things over the years, strength work, mobility, and then ultimately in the pool is where we end up usually doing a lot of work as well. So I'm really heartened to hear that there is more information coming through about the lifestyle factors, because obviously that's what we focus on in the Menopause Coach Diploma as well. So how long is it now since you've known you've had MS?
Oh, blimey. My memory and my timelines are really bad, Lauren. It's basically early 40s. I'm 56 now. So
at least a decade.
Yeah.
So that's a long time to be living with something and testing things out, trying things out and seeing what works best for you. And you're a really upbeat person. Like you're really bubbly, personally, high energy type of individual. So that must have been a really hard diagnosis to accept. How did it affect you psychologically?
Yeah, I mean, I was not in a good place. Didn't have a particularly supportive partner at the time. You're looked upon because the chronic fatigue is a real issue.
I know.
Yeah. You're looked on as if you're being lazy. You just need to get on and do stuff more. And actually, sometimes it is, I call them my duvet days. So sometimes I just have to have a duvet day. And a duvet day for me is literally about just not overloading myself with anything. Media, phone. I mean, we're all on our phones all the time, aren't we? And it's just making sure I'm hydrating and that I'm eating healthily and I'm just resting. just resting.
Yeah.
And that can recharge me. So, for instance, I had a duvet day yesterday because I'm so exhausted. And it's not, people say, yeah, I get so tired. It's a different level of fatigue. It really is. You can have an amazing night's sleep and still wake up as if you just haven't slept at all. So for me, psychologically, it was a real kick in the teeth, and I don't think I properly processed it. I didn't really reach out for emotional support. I'm a bit of you just got to get on with things.
British stiff upper lip.
It totally.
We are our own worst nightmare. I get it. I don't know if I ever told you, but when I was 21, I woke up after doing a double shift at work and having trained 10 times a week with my judo club. I woke up one Sunday morning due to go in to do a double shift at work, and I literally couldn't move my neck down. And I spent 4 years trying to get back on my feet. I never got a proper diagnosis at all, but eventually they put it down to post-viral polyarthritis, which I tested negative for everything. So I don't know if it was a catch-all, whether it was who knows what it was I actually had. But there's a number of theories that go around now. But for 4 years, that whole concept of tomorrow will be better. You get a good night's sleep, you wake up and you just feel like you're dragging your body through the day. It's like walking through a treacle. And I think unless you've experienced that, it's very difficult for anyone to understand what that feels like, because you want to do and you want to be out there and you want to be doing all the things, but your body's like, it's almost like you're being weighed down with an anchor.
And it's lead, I call it lead leg. I get lead.
Yeah.
It's your legs just feel like lead. And one day I can be literally stomping up the road with the dog and really, power walking. And I feel the next day I can feel like I'm absolutely dragging myself up the same hill.
What prognosis have you been given?
Well, I'm pretty much, I think I'm literally at about 10 years of no medication now. So, and I had an MRI because I started getting, now my brain's gone, it's like a neuralgia pain around your face, where so intense. I can't remember the name of it, brain fog. And so they did another MRI and I've not had any more lesions. I haven't got lesions on my spine, so that's amazing. I've got no new or no active lesions at the moment in my brain. And so that was all positive. So he said, like, whatever you're doing is working for you.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Yeah. There wouldn't be a menopause podcast without having a brain fog moment, by the way.
Yes.
That just would not be right? So let's bring in menopause. So you've got the MS diagnosis. You now know you're perimenopausal. At what point did you go, do you know what, I'm going to train to become a menopause coach?
I have been watching you for years.
Oh dear.
Yeah, I have been watching you for years. And in my previous role, because my other business after I've had such work, but I used to manage a massive team for the Hampshire Autistic Society, and my staff were amazing, still in contact with loads of them. So they love my menopause journey, because they're all pretty much my age and like, whoa, yeah, what can I do? And so I'd been watching you, and I was more a mentor for my staff, and I've always had people coming to me and asking me questions and seeking sort of support and advice over the years. And I just thought, do you know what? This is something I really want to look into. So I did your champion training, which is more for work-based, but I'm a lone worker here. So obviously I've got nobody to do menopause champion work with. And then I really got hooked on the whole coaching field, and I've really looked into coaching, but specifically, again, because of my journey with perimenopause, and everything you were saying and everything I was reading because you put out so much useful information, and I was thinking, that's where I want to go. That is what I want to do, because I can at least just get through to one other person and so that they don't struggle and suffer like I did. And they know where to go, and they know the support systems that are there for them, and they know the help that they can get, and they know the different types medications should they choose that route that they want to use. And again, about lifestyle. And then I think it took me, well, I know I've been on your sort of books for 2 years. I think it took me a good year before I went, yeah, right, I'm now just going to find the money and I'm going to do this. And
what was the kind of thing that you kind of went from sitting on the fence to going, that's it, I'm in, I'm doing it?
I was getting so bored and no fulfillment in my other work. Absolutely. Right. I love animals, and I'm a dog groomer. I've got my own dog grooming business, and I've been doing that for nearly 15 years. Bless them. And I'm pretty damn good, even if I say so myself. And I love my clients and I love my dogs, and I'm a real animal lover, but I'm not getting fulfillment. I'm not interacting with people. Only briefly. I'll drop off and pick up. And then, of course, I talk the high lows off my client, you know. And so, and it was actually getting back to working with people again that I really to do, and something that is so needed and something that is so beneficial. I mean, my 2 practice clients that I took through the menopause, and I mean, they're just flying. They're just absolutely flying, and they loved it, and they were so engaged, and it just to see the changes in them, I just went, that told me everything. That told me I am in the place I need to be, and this is what I want to do. And so I'm pretty obsessed about my business now. That is, my website's still not quite ready, but it will get there.
We don't need a website. We just need to talk to people and get on podcasts and share what we're doing and all of that.
Exactly. And, you know, the whole coaching, I mean, for me, it was quite difficult because I am a talker. So I was thinking, shit, I need to be quiet. Oops, sorry. You know, I need to actually give space and not talk too much here. So, but that's good for me because I needed something to really start
challenge
me and break through all this, you know. And it was everything you've been putting out there, and watching you and seeing your journey and just hearing, you know, kind of what happened to you as well and how you felt, and then where you're at now. I thought, this is definitely for me. And I love it.
I remember that first conversation, well, not the first conversation with you, but the first conversation about the Menopause Coach program, because my sister's a dog groomer, and she's got her own business and works from home. And it's hard work, right? Dog grooming is not easy. It's often very hearted because you've not just got the personality of the owners, but you've got the personality of the dogs. You've got those that have been perfect little 4-legged furry friends for their owners, and suddenly the minute you go to groom them, they come with different personality, and there's so many different things that go on. So hats off to you for that as well.
And it's that it's absolutely and I'm getting a bit now. So, you know, so I'm kind of thinking, I need to really look after this body because I'm hoping this body's going to take me through for quite a few years.
Of course it is. So when people listening who've maybe not heard any of these podcasts before, the menopause plan that you're talking about is the menopause plan that I train my students on to deliver. And I take you through it during part of the program, and then you take each other through it, and then you have your own practice planks to make sure that you're really confident and competent to deliver that going forward. When I took you through it, did you observe how I delivered it, or did you allow yourself to be a coachee for that time? Which path did you take?
It was a mixture of both, actually. I was really watching how you were coaching us, which I really needed to learn the coaching aspect. And then, I mean, I sometimes take a while, again, cognitive issues with MS and with the perimenopause, take a while to process things. So, I was watching how you were delivering and coaching us, and then it took me a little bit of time to think, okay, this is where I need to go. And when we went into our breakout groups, and then practice, it was because you get to practice parts of each session, because otherwise we'd be there all day, and some real chatty, and we want to get to know the other person of wherever they're from. So that aspect of the practice was really good because most of the people in our cohort actually, there were a couple that were already coaching, but I don't think, I mean, I might be making assumptions here, but I don't think the majority of us were actually coaches already. And so it was fascinating. It was fascinating seeing how others were coaching as well. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed watching how you deliver and the space you'd give us when you were delivering the menopause plan. Then I'd have to sit and really think about some of what you were saying sometimes, because it just, what does that mean? Yeah. So
did you make any changes yourself, lifestyle-wise, or had you already made a lot of those changes before we started working together?
I think because of my health, I'd already was very hot on, especially with the nutrition. I've done a lot of work in my early 20s on nutrition because I'm really quite intolerant to a lot of foods. I'm highly allergic to Brazil nuts, not peanuts. I'm fine with peanuts. So I have to carry a pen around. I mean, my body, God knows, how it's got on this many years. So I actually went and saw sort of a holistic practitioner, and they did some testing. And when it came down to it, I was really intolerant to quite a few different types of foods. So that really brought me right back to really clean eating. And since my early 20s. And I really saw the difference very quickly. I mean, within weeks, I was a different person. So, so as far as nutrition-wise, I've always been pretty hot on that. The exercise aspect, I think I've worked on a lot more in the last few years, especially I got on top of what worked for me and what didn't with and with perimenopause, because obviously everything starts to shift again. So you need
what did work for you in the space? Because you've moved from being bedbound to quite a big goal, which I'd love you to talk to us how you got from one to the other and share what that goal is as well.
Again, it's being kind to yourself, I think, is the biggest thing. I'm my own worst enemy sometimes. I want to push as soon as I get a bit of energy. I want to push hard. I want to push, get out there, go for a run. No, just do a gentle walk is probably the first thing to do. And so I started to reel myself right back in, really started to look at food labelling, actually, whether there was any nasties in any food. So because I maybe had let slip, these things, you let slip, don't you? Alcohol is a killer, although I can't say I like it. No, I do like it, but it is an absolute killer for me. One, with fatigue. Two, with the brain fog. I mean, the next day I can struggle for 2 or 3 days if I've gone for a night with my girlfriends. So again, cutting all of that right. Carbohydrates, again, for me, they really they're not my best friend. Protein, really conscious of upping my protein levels. So, and that was the difference. It's small changes to start with, but being consistent. And I found the consistency aspect is what really got me on the right track and the right road.
And did you apply those same principles to movement as well? Because you put in your notes before we started chatting that the Great North Run perhaps is on the cards or has been on the cards?
Yeah, so I did it 2 years ago, and it was a time when my energy levels I was really struggling. And on the day of the run, I just thought, I'm not going to be, and I get really affected by heat as well. So I'm heat sensitive. And so I'm thinking, if it's a hot day, I'm just going to die. I'm not going to be out. And I know the furthest I'd ever run was 9 miles, and my poor son would run back to get the car because he thought I was going to pass out. So I was really anxious. And the Great North Run, if anybody has never done it, I would absolutely recommend it, because the crowd just carry you through. And on the morning of the run, this was 2 years ago, I really said to myself, even if you just walk it, even if you can't run it, and today is not a good day, just walk it. You know, you've still done it. Okay, you might be right at the back. You'll probably be the last one over the line. And as it was, the energy at the beginning and the people around and everyone was so buzzy and they just carried you. And I think the adrenaline and the atmosphere and people just literally picked you. And my partner, bless him, he's such a good egg. He is a runner. I mean, he's done every marathon you can name. So, and I ran probably at his fast walking pace.
It's not a competition with anyone else, right?
Exactly. So, and he stayed with me. So he was there. If I was having a bit of a dip, he stayed with me and he'd pick me up, and all the kids along the line were really good. Yeah. They all come out with sweets and, you know, ice pops to give you some energy. So that was it. So I did it. And then I put in for another place. Last year I thought, no, I've been there, done it. I'm one of these people that usually been there, done it, don't need to do it again. Yeah. And he got a ballet place, my partner did. And I thought, well, I can't have him doing it and I'm not doing it. And then the MS Society actually contacted me and said, we'll give you a free place if you'll run for MS. And I ran for the MS Society last time. Yeah. So I got a free entry with the MS IT. So I thought, I can't say no now, can I? I've really got to do it. So so I need to get on my sort of campaign, but I'm really going to use it as an MS menopause run and support both causes and raise money. I was trying to find actually a menopause charity that I can actually donate, you know, some of the funds to. But
check out Menopause Research Education, MREF fund, I think it is. That's with Dr. Vikram.
Right.
And have a check out of that. But there's plenty of charities, but obviously I'm biased just because he's so supportive of the program and the teaching in the program. So he's associated with the MREF, so might be worth having a look and see if that aligns.
Yeah, because I really wanted to do it as a joint venture for supporting, you know, menopause and MS. And also for me, it's about getting the message out there that, you know, I've gone from Bedbound and I've gone from, and it was 6 months at least. I mean, like I say, my timelines are not very good, but at least 6 months where I was completely bedbound. And now to say that I've done the Great North once before, and it's a half marathon, if anyone doesn't know, but you can do smaller, you can do a 10K. Then to actually go from that point to this point, where I'm now, you know, I can run, 4 miles quite easily every other day. And it is possible. And I really do believe that the lifestyle changes were what did it, and actually just cleaning my whole system.
So I want to bring the attention for anyone that's listening as opposed to watching this. Tell me about your T-shirt.
My
one you're wearing just now. Your T-shirt, the one you're wearing just now. So I'm Bridgette as birth name, but all my close friends and family call me B because I am a busy bee. I'm quite bubbly and, you know, buzzy, and so my company, which is Bees Menopause Coaching, I just thought, you know, I'm kind of quite fun, and I sometimes life is, there's so much going on, isn't there? And there's so much serious stuff going on, and I'm not always the most sensible person, and I like to have a laugh, and I like to keep things quite light sometimes because we all have day-to-day drudges. And so today I've got my bee Queen Bee T-shirt on and red because as you know, Lauren, I'm a big red lipstick fan. So I've always got my red lipstick on. So so B is who I am. Everyone knows me as B. So And tell me now a little bit more about, you've got your dog grooming business and your menopause. So tell me more about where you're driving that business and what you want to achieve with it.
Okay, so I've basically designed, off of the back of your menopause plan, I've designed my own signature sort of, what do I call it, system. I've called it the Hive because, you know, and really for me, it's about group coaching. I want to get similar women in, and actually, because what I really loved about our cohort is that they're also supportive, and it's a network, and I've made some really good friends as a result of our cohort, and met up with a couple, and quite often talked to one particular lady who's great fun, and we've met up and had lunch. And I really think that's so powerful at this age, is actually to form new friendships and new, a new community where people understand each other and are similar, or, going through similar issues. And so my Hive is like, I want it to be the Hive where everyone gets to and really can talk. And obviously I'm going to take them through the menopause plan, and they're going to be coached, and then there's going to be lots of opportunity for people to actually really share where they're at. And I want it to be a system so that they can then go on and support each other as well afterwards, a bit like what you've done with our cohort. So hence they build their Hive, and then they hopefully can stick together.
I love it so much. It's so exactly what I do this work for. This is just like, today's just maybe like, I've had a chat with one of your other cohort today for the podcast, and speaking to you and a couple of other people, and it's quite an emotional day for me, because some of the work that you're all going on to do, and the bringing the Hive together, creating that community, is exactly what I wish I'd had when I went through my journey. I was so isolated, and so I wasn't lonely, because I'm very happy in my own company. But the experience of going through menopause was very isolating, because you're managing all of this stuff out of the view of anyone else, without anyone to talk to. Now, I didn't know I was going through perimenopause. I didn't know it menopausal. I put it down to so many other things, but I just wish that I'd been menopause aware, perimenopause aware, that I'd had a community of people who were in that kind of same journey, going through the same thing, finding out about it together, supporting each other. So I am so grateful to you for having A, trained twice with me, and B, going off to do this work going forward as well, because...
Well, I couldn't have done it without you, Lauren, honestly. It was...
I know, but I couldn't do my work without you, right? This is the whole point about community and lifting each other up. And I think there's so much competition in the world, and we are busy, we're distracted with so many other things. And I know every Friday when I pitch up to deliver the session, or I've got a guest speaker come in, or guest speakers come in, that is the highlight of my week. And it's absolutely what gets me out of bed on a Friday. When everyone else is going, the end of the week, I'm like, it's Friday, I get to see my students today. So thank you for being part of that. But anyone that's out there that's maybe thinking about training to be a menopause coach, they've got so many different options in terms of how they approach that and how they go about doing that. What is it about women of a certain stage diploma that you think is worth someone considering?
I think the speakers you got in were amazing. I think the way you manage us and support us is absolutely outstanding, because you're always there for us, and you're always saying, please ask, you're kind of like, please touch base with me if there's anything that you're not, that isn't sitting well with you, or you're worried about, and you will always there for us. The structure, I really love the structure. Actually being able to take the menopause plan away and then implement that with other, ladies is, for me, was amazing, because my brain doesn't always function properly. And for me to then do some training and then have to sit down and think, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with all this information? How am I going to put it together in a structured format? Whereas you basically just say, here it is. You've lived it, you've done it. You've coached each other. You've coached us, and this is basically what you. And then we can build on it, obviously, or we can.
You can do what you want with it.
And that for me was perfect, because I'm not necessarily. I have such a jumbled mind sometimes. I mean, I swear I can't think straight at times. And I just thought, for me to sit down and actually have to put a program together myself to then deliver, I needed structure. I needed something that I could just take away and just go, I'm going to run with this now. So that was absolutely awesome. And just the quality of the sessions, they were each week. I mean, I turned up for every single one. I think one of them I had. So I had my screen off because I thought, I can't look at the screen. But even then, it was one of the worst migraines I'd had for a while. But I still turned up, and I didn't want to miss any of them. I was so engaged with that every single week. And listening to the other lovely ladies. I mean, some of them, some people, I mean, I'm a bit of an observer sometimes, but it was lovely seeing the faces every week and those that always pitch up with questions. And so I miss our Friday afternoon sessions. I really do. Again, and it was lovely because it was having such good structure. And you knew what was coming. You released the next session a few days before so that we could actually become familiar with it. And the whole resources that we walked away with were just brilliant. Yeah, really brilliant, Lauren. Honestly, I couldn't recommend it enough.
Appreciate that. And I think the other thing is I think all the cohorts, thankfully, one of the things I do is I do speak to everybody before they join the cohort. And one of the things I say to people at the very beginning is, we're looking for people that are empathic. We're looking for people who want to be coached or coachable. We're looking for people who want to support other people. I don't care about someone's economic background. I don't care about someone's academic background. I don't care about someone's work background. None of those things are important. It's just about they want to learn, they want to help themselves and help others. And that conversation for me is such a really good starting point. I always say to people, they're like, oh, I'm going to go and do a self-paced course. I'm like, great, okay. Then this is not for you because you have to show up for a minimum of 12 out of 18 sessions. And the reality is, I think we have about 97% show up rate for your cohort, which is pretty normal. It's usually 95 plus. So it's always great when so many people show up live, and it does make the learning, I think it makes the learning experience so much richer because you've got everyone else rooting for you and you're rooting for everyone and you're practicing. And I'm biased because, I get to work with all of you, which is great. And also it's my learning style. It's not everyone's learning style, but it's definitely my learning style. So I like to be hands-on and practical. And I think that can really help reinforce people's learning as well.
Definitely.
So what's next for you? Where are you going next? What's your plan?
So I'm waiting at the moment. I know I've got worked with one of the other ladies from the cohort. We put something together. We're going to do an event. At the moment, I think people are sort of just watching and seeing where it's going because at the moment we're struggling to get enough people to attend. But it will happen. Okay. It will happen, sure. And I just spoken this morning to a nutritionist who might work with, and we might do an event in July or August. So that's really nice. I'm really spreading my wings out there, networking with a lot of people. Got a really good MS community that I'm talking to, and they're coming to me for a lot of support advice. So I'll start to feed. I'm not quite sure with that forum just yet whether I'm allowed to feed other things in. So this is what I do. I'm just playing it, safe at the moment. Website should be up and running in the next couple of weeks, and then I'm just going to really push that and just keep. I am a talker, so I do love doing events because I talk for England. So anything like events and speaking, especially within the MS field, would be really good. And I'm talking to my MS team next week, actually. So I'm gonna touch base with them and say, look, if there's any kind of training coming up for you guys or other things that I could kind of maybe either just talk at or sit in at from my perspective and just give lived experience view. And then as soon as my website's up and running, I'm just gonna market the hell out.
So have you spoken to your local radio station yet?
Do you know what? That's something on my to-do list. Yeah. So I've contacted the paper and I've written a story for them about the journey with MS and running and menopause. And I haven't had any feedback from them yet. It's a local paper. And I'm just waiting to see whether they're holding back until nearer the time when the Great North Run is going to happen. I did mean to contact the radio stations, but like I said, I would contact the radio station. Never mind the Great North Run, but park Great North Run for nearer the time. But maybe think about if you're contacting them once a month between now and the Great North Run, just introducing the topic of MS and menopause to start off with, then lived experience, then, a bit more about your preparation and training for the Great North Run before and now and how that's changed. So there might be just a bunch of different approaches that you could take.
because it might just be that a particular angle hits with a particular production team at a certain time.
Yeah.
So I'd love to hear you on radio. I think you'd be amazing. And can't wait to read you in print as well or online. So I know you're going to do it. So I'm just excited
definitely. It was on my to-do list, and I must admit, and I'm one of these people that needs a visual to-do list, because even if it's on my phone, it's still not visual enough. I need a whiteboard. Anything like that. Stickers around, I've actually had where it's to do and have it by the side of my bed, because it's the sort of thing that wakes you, oh God, I forgot to do that. But write it down and then you won't stress about it all night.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something on the books to get organised.
Phenomenal. Yeah. So is there anything I haven't asked you today that you'd like to share that I haven't?
Oh, now you put me on the spot, Lauren.
Absolutely.
I think one of the biggest things I'm finding is a lot of women really find it hard to invest in themselves still, and reach out for help. And it's sometimes really hard to actually say it's okay to say you're not okay, and really ask for help. And I'm really am an open book, and I really don't mind. I mean, the amount of messages you can spend all night on, on social media, people send me private messages. What do you do about this? How can you do? And so I'm really happy to respond to all of that, and give any sort of insight, advice if I can, as in just from my own journey. And obviously with coaching, we don't advise, but again, it's nice to have the resources there that, that you sort of allowed us to have. But no, I think it's just actually really getting the message across. Do you know what? You're worth it. Invest in yourself. If you feel like you're stuck, or if you're really struggling at the moment, definitely invest in yourself. Definitely find somebody you can work with, because I was the same. I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to ask. I didn't know what support was out there. And I just think, actually, I wish I had. I wish I knew that there were coaches out there. I wish I knew that the support was there, where to go. I mean, luckily, I paid to see a private GP to get HRT, because my own GP said I was too young. And because I really needed it. I mean, I was completely batshit crazy. And that was the thing that really leveled me. And and I know it's not for everybody, but for me, it was a game changer. But I wish I'd known about her sooner, and I wish I'd actually support, because
I think one of the problems we've got in the UK, curse and problem and good thing, is the NHS, because it's the most amazing thing on the planet. And we've been brought up, certainly our generation's been brought up believing that we get sick, we go to the doctor, they give us a bit of paper, we take it to pharmacy gives us the whatever it is, we take it and we get better. And so our mindset is firmly entrenched that all healthcare should be free and is something that we should not have to pay for. And actually, it's a real privilege to be living in a country where, I believe it's a privilege to be living in a country where we've got that type of healthcare. And you can criticize or praise the NHS, take whichever standpoint you wish, but it is a real privilege to be able to have to that type of healthcare. And obviously during menopause, we know it's a postcode lottery. We very often have to advocate for ourselves. We are being told we're too young or to get on with it. There's so many different things that happen and come up. But we don't have that belief system like in the US, where people know they have to put their hand in their pocket for the healthcare. They either have to have insurance or they have to pay out of pocket. And that's just their mindset and their mentality, and they don't think twice about doing that. But over here it is very different. So I think you make a really valid point. And I believe that people have to recognize that we're living so much longer and later into life now than we've ever done before. And unfortunately, women tend to live longer and in poorer health for longer. Yeah. And so the more we can do at this time of life when our bodies are going through this massive transformation, to look after ourselves and to give ourselves every possibility of living well and healthily for longer, has got to be in our best interest. And that's why the menopause plan for me is so critical. Whether you take HRT or not, it's just so important that we're hydrated and we move and we rest well and we, are eating well and all the things that we put into it. So Yeah.
Yeah, and it's everything. It's the hydration for me. I mean, I know I'm always got this. I mean, I carry it everywhere, and that for me was a game. Making sure, just even buying the bottle, and actually, because then I'm accountable because I know how much I've drunk. But again, hydration, and I didn't really think about it too much until a few years ago. And then I started thinking, actually, there's a lot to be said for being really fully hydrated. And again, but brain fog, I mean, that makes a bag of difference.
Question I was going to ask you, how do you find it now going out with the girls if you're not drinking? Or do you just decide that if you are going out with them, you'll have a drink and take a couple of days and you bake that into your planning?
It's a choice, really. I think if I choose to have a drink, then I know I've got to manage my days afterwards. And I don't need alcohol, obviously, but I do have a drink, and I just manage it. And I can't drink wine. I used to love wine, but I can't drink. So I know what works now, kind of, and what doesn't. So I can choose a drink that I know is sort of easier on me and my brain, that I can manage the next day. And before I go out, and we'd drink a fair bit, and the next day it would take me days to recover. Whereas now I can wake up and just feel what I see as worse brain fog, but actually I feel fine, and I still function. But I know it's the alcohol. If I've had a glass, well, I usually have a beer. That's what I usually have. If I'm going to have a drink, I'll have a beer. But again, I'm much better at protecting my energy. I never do. I used to have to think I had to push through everything, and I had to just cope, and I had to get on. Because I have a partner, but we don't live together. He lives on the Isle of Skye. I live in Winchester.
I'm sorry for you.
Yeah. I mean, I love the Isle of Skye. Yeah, and it is ideal. Yeah, and me and my son just live here. He's 24, so but it's about protecting my energy, and I've become so much better at actually saying no to things now. And there have been times when the girls have gone out and I've gone, actually, I just can't do this, and so I can say no. Whereas before, I always thought no was you just don't. You just do. I am generally a yes person to everything, but I've learned that I've actually had to say no at times. And but alcohol is a killer. I mean, and a lot of my friends, they've given up alcohol because they're the same. It just makes you feel. It just takes days to recover as you get older, and it's not worth it sometimes. So, but there are the odd occasions where it is very nice.
Well, look, on that note, I'm going to say thank you so much for your time today. It's been an absolute pleasure to see you again and to chat with you.
You too.
I look forward to following and supporting your journey all the way.
Yeah, it's been great. It's been really good to see you. I've missed you, Lauren. I really have.
Thank you for joining me on Women of a Certain Stage. I hope today's episode inspired you to think differently about menopause and the incredible opportunities this stage of life brings. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with 3 friends who need to hear this message. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps us reach even more people. You can connect with me on LinkedIn at Lauren Turin, or visit our website at womenofacertainstage.com to learn more about menopause coaching, inspiring events, and corporate training. Until next time, let's continue making a difference, one conversation at a time.